This is like community guidelines. I don't know. Let me look. Chat filter, top messages. Okay. Sorry. Hi everybody. Thanks for coming. Okay, so the messages for today. I did a reading. It's gonna post up here in a minute. I always do last minute. I just don't have time. Okay. We're professionals. We can't sit at a desk all day. Plus, we're not meant to, right? We're humans. We need social interaction. And so remember, February, YouTube is going to change their policies. Okay. So if you have a passion project that's going to be on a platform for YouTube, please get it out there before February because they're going to change to audience, like viewing the audience or when you can watch them, something like that. I'm not quite sure, but anyway, I pulled some cards. This is similar to the reading that I did, the collective horoscope for Pisces, the lunar eclipse, right? What's needing to be reflective, what you need to get away from. We have the devil in reverse. So you seem to have escaped from a devil mentality. What's be where you've been attached to something, whether it's emotional, physical. Maybe you're still living with the person, but you've unattached, right? Emotionally, we had in the last reading the Queen of Swords, which means you're using your logical mindset because that's going to help benefit you to get the financial stepping stone you need. All right. We in the last reading, if you look at the Black Moon and Lilith, it talks about um, the Black Moon and Lilith about your inner bitch, putting your boundaries up. What's going to make you happy, and how are you going to achieve that? Um, because here, this reading is talking about, okay, we have a Knight of Wands, an immature person. Maybe this was a past person. Um, but the last 2 years have been a really stagnant period for you in stifled creativity. I'm going to leave it at that. You've been stabbed, Seven Swords, meaning there was a lot of confusion. You're ignoring advice, or you need to break old habits. Okay, this could be with a person from the past, or it could be a current situation, but you're just working on this right now. So now, seven is, where you've been someone's been deceiving you, okay? So if that was the person, they were sneaky about a situation, they didn't face it head on for you, and they went behind your back. So this is also saying to reflect on what's going to be pure and light for you right now, and who is going to be that person to join you. All right. In this next period, we are in the destiny of fate right now, this today of the 27th. The 28th is the lunar. Just depends where you're at location wise, but the King of Pentacles here. You don't be impulsive, pushy, or aggressive, or somebody could come in as that King of Wands, very aggressive energy towards you. Okay, acting as a King of Cups. So somebody who's very emotional. You could have a King of Cups who restrains himself and is emotionally controlled. But this is a person saying, don't bottle up your feelings. You are in perfect balance of your feelings and intellect. Generosity and emotional maturity. You are the King of Cups. This person's the Knight of Wands, so they're very immature, kind of hasteful. You have very balanced energy. Even if you have temptation, there could be confusion on your behalf. There's a parting of ways that you're going to be faced with some choices before you head into this next new chapter tomorrow, and choosing what's going to benefit you and what doesn't. So don't get caught up in your dreams, that you ignore what's real, right? Who's going to be there for you at the end of the day? Who's got your back? Maybe you don't like them that much, but you're kind of stuck. It could be in a situation. It could not be. It could be in the fact that, currently like living or where you're at situation wise, financially. This is just saying don't let wishful thinking with a person or where you're at I mean, just see it for what it is, face value right now, because you have conquered this devil energy, right? Yeah, you've conquered these negative habits, dependencies, behaviors, or thought patterns and addictions. You're not in sexuality, greed, or materialism now. You have freed yourself. You have your Lilith is saying you've done the work that last because the list comes every 9 years. So if you don't get that message, now you could be just stuck in the situation after this still, right? Because it's not easy. Oh yeah, we're like at the end of the rope here. Let's just, move on and carry on from another relationship, right? Like that we've been in for 20 years, right? Like it doesn't really work like that, especially if it's a marriage, it's just, I mean, it's a slow process. It could be just you starting emotionally detaching and choosing what's best for you, just the beginning phase. It's just you realizing, look, I don't want to be attached to something. I could still have a connection with other people. I could stay in this relationship and choose what's going to serve me and let go and choose my passions and still remain in this situation because I kind of have no choice because of the kids, blah, blah, blah. But this can also be like the devil. You're not you're not forced. Lilith is like the inner bitch saying, I'm not going to allow, right? It comes. So the message here is letting go of the confusion of the lies that, whether the relationship or the job. So you're no longer seeing this as a situation where you're being tied to as much as you once were. So getting out more and asking for things that's going to empower you, right? And then once you do that, more people are going to come in. But I will say this is a change in your money habits as well. I mentioned that in the last reading. We have the Four of Cups. Boredom, isolation, and being aloof. So the Seven of Cups, because you're not tempted anymore through money, this is going to allow you to pursue your passion of creativity, which is passion product week. Okay, your bottled emotions and bottled up feelings is what that Knight of Wands has. And that's why there was no movement with this person. And yeah, that's the last person. And they didn't break any old habits down, and that's why you guys never had a new beginning. And they were attached to something else. So, but you're over here, you're doing fine with the King of Cups. Maybe you're in a situation that you're just not happy in still, though. Now, this is like being a beginner in something. So curiosity, energy, and enthusiasm is going to help you release any conflict that you have to reason. You're being guided right now with your intuition to look at what is the project that you want to create because the project's going to have some recognition and success. Whether this is you creating a 6-week workshop, a 3-day workshop at a yoga studio. For me, that's something that I would do. So finding that collaboration with another person, whether that be online, but you had a lot of choices, and that's what stalled you because you weren't. The choices left you with the best choice possible, but you're still not. It's still not enough, right? It's still like you're leveling up. You've been leveling up the last 2 years. Let's talk about that little. I can't talk today. Okay, the Lilith part of this. Okay. Let's see. The shadow side. All right. Look up your Lilith because every 9 years it comes into your zodiac. And you get another chance. So what is it that the message that you need to know is, so the Five of Pentacles is talking about money. You've been really stuck in money and you need to improve your circumstances financially. In the last reading we had, it was, you were definitely poverty mindset, scarcity. You're not wearing the clothes. You have them. They could be in the suitcase still, right? Nice stuff. Makes you feel pretty and you just don't put it on. Worth, self-respect, things of that nature. You could be a cardinal sign. So you are the leader, of the zodiac. So you're a leader. And it's just like, well, I needed somebody to lead me, but I had to go the long route because of support growing up, blah, blah, blah. But this is saying here too, with the Five of Pentacles, you have released some difficult relationship with money. Now you're understanding the core issue is not about the purchase. It's about giving somebody the feeling and the experience, right? And giving that to another person, make lots of money and then help other people, right? Kind of mentality. So you're kind of maybe purging, letting things start to do that physically with your clothes or items. That's a good sign. You're not letting things be attached to you, right? Attachment is suffering, expectations. Even in a situation, you've become disattached, and that's allowing you to pursue what you need to do. Even if you're unhappy in the situation, you are working on improving your circumstances while you're in the situation. So this is a good reading here. Because if you truly see where you need to be, is going to help you here with this Six of Wands. This is a motivation for you. This is a boost. This period right now, this Pisces, if you have a North nodes in Pisces, this is a great time for you to see. Yes, I've been very, picking up other people's emotions, and that's what's keeping me stalled, or I've been too sensitive. If your moon's in Pisces, me, taking on other energies that aren't yours, or looking at more like head over heart. My money is gonna, my my life matters. Even though you may have to stay with a beginner mindset and stay in authenticity. Remember, children are very innocent, and being more authentic, they don't care. They have their freak flag fly kind of mentality. So communication skills and your ability to reason and your intuition is going to help you go along the way. So remaining curious with the Four. Like I said, this is about you. You were feeling stale. I think this is saying now you're not going to feel stale anymore because you closed a lot of things off, and you are now meditating on the current situation, and you may be finding clarity, and you're not ignoring things now. And that's helping you because you've been meditating on things of the current situation, and you're like, this isn't working for me, but I may have to stay in it. And how am I going to create recognition by staying in it if I have to? And if not, you're going to develop some kind of way to focus on getting out of it through the detachment of it, right? Emotionally, but still remaining in it. I get that. Or just putting up your boundaries. Like if your boundaries are being crossed, maybe you're getting some anger going on right now as well. Let's talk about, so I'm going to touch on that for just a second. Go back and watch the other video I did. But this is about the cosmic energy forecast of this week. So the moon is retrograding, right? So here we go. There's something private about this energy. It's asking to step away from the noise of the world and connect with the people who genuinely understand where you're coming from. So this is a great energy for strengthening, but it may not happen easily. Scorpio wants depth, while Neptune make it difficult to understand exactly what another person is feeling or where the connection is ultimately going. Like I said, you could be leaving a situation in your mind and you're still there, and the other person has no idea. It could be something like that, right? This is actually a good time for you to know that you're not alone, right? Everyone's going to be different. The answer isn't to force the relationship. It is to allow a connection to reveal itself naturally. And that's kind of what this lunar Pisces moon is saying, like, you know, adding more of a powerful desire to express kind of what is hidden on the inside for yourself. So creating that magnetic aura around your life and attracting people who can share your passions, your dreams, and ambitions. Like, what is it that you like to do? Remember what you did when you were 7 years old. What did you do that you loved the most? So remember, this is a reminder that the great discoveries happen when two people are willing to explore them together. So many mysteries are within this world. And so this is about shifting your attention towards the future on whatever you're building, whether it's a relationship, a business, creative endeavor, personal transformation. Maybe this could be just a physical transformation of your health, your body, how you're eating. Remember, food, supplements, anything of that is going to be very important this period. Like, completely important. Like, these are the habits, and this is what I value, and I'm going to take into account my life because this is the part of the becoming of how you're going to create security, right? Secure in yourself, right? Maybe taking that yoga class, building that self trust, that empowerment with yourself, being secure. That's how you're going to gain strength and confidence and then transform for 2026, you know, through your commitment, commitments to yourself and where your commitments are. Committed to doing, maybe whether it's one video a day, like for me, yoga video a day, I don't know. Or maybe it's a commitment to just focus on meditating 1 hour a day, or a commitment to reading a chapter a day. Um, all these personal, very personal areas that's going to help you build to create this sense of self, right? Because the identity gets lost, especially with other people. Um, and that's another thing is I noticed when you're in Facebook or you're in, on the screen, your identity is getting lost in other people's opinions, and you get to hear what they're saying and you're not hearing yourself. And that's what mankind did. And in the conflicts book of the psychology of the human dilemma, it talks about that, right? And how we become repressed. Um, we don't understand our own awareness. Become kind of like depersonalized. So awareness without consciousness is highly depersonalizing. All right. So yeah. So you kind of have to look at your upright posture, right? Remember how you balance yourself in the world on your feet, right? In a tree pose is going to show you how you're balancing yourself out in the world. So, not like I'm saying go stand in a grocery store, and stand in tree pose. But this is just saying right now to the encounter you have, not just the person that you've met, it's more or less called the encounter. It has a creative experience here that's going to help you expand and enrich yourself and the quality of the experience. So that's encounter is where both person gets changed, and that's very therapeutic. But when you have transference with a person, especially if you're seeing them online, taking in a lot of their thoughts and their beliefs and or what they're saying, and I believe fully that you can lose your individuality and your identity and your personality, obviously. It can really get distorted. So, watching what is going to strengthen you and your character and your morality. Okay. This is really interesting because we're all influenced at some point, and individuals has a meaning relationship with what constitutes um, higher or lower realms, right? Like, and then where your emotional patterns are. You know, it's like people can inject this information into you on the screen, and knowing, it's dangerous to show man too often that he is equal to his beast without showing him his greatness. And so I think for me personally is showing you your greatness. Um, yeah, it's just, I could just touch on so many things here, but let's just go back. Your problem here is freedom. It's freedom, okay? Your image of yourself, your concept, right? Understanding the nature of yourself, your wishes, your drives, your motivations, right? because we can manipulate ourselves. Human personality is very interesting when it comes up to anxiety, fears, wishes. You know, God moves in more mysterious ways, right? And so, let's see. I was going to say, this is going to require us to build and connect and to believe what we're creating is worth protecting. So, this emotional intensity for tomorrow, for those who are seeking any kind of recognition, love, fulfillment, or great of purpose, are going to face some fears that's been quietly holding them back. Whether fears of, like I said, self-concept, of worth, self-esteem, anything like that. Where have your dreams have been exhausted that you haven't been putting them out into the world? Where there's a certain exhaustion from carrying your dreams too long is my point. You're not seeing the results. But the energy for tomorrow is going to say the struggle itself may be preparing you for something greater. So all of this, the last reading we had the Ten of Swords, we had like ten of Swords. And it was like, yes, you've been cut down. You know, you could have had people just, since 2020, the story is now being done. You're like, no more. My inner bitch of, Lilith is now coming out. And so you've realized how strong you've become. And this is another obstacle, though, because you don't realize it until someone tells you, right? Remember, Jesus followed the stars, okay? Let's just say that. Sometimes you do need support, you do need advice. It's just from the right people, and not everybody's advice is great off the screen. Not even mine half the time. Okay, just kidding. No, it's okay if you stay watching, but this is great because this is good to know that we're all facing fears in some ways and that we've been holding ourselves back. Usually the greatest battle is within ourselves. That's where it's really what I'm really trying to say. Humanity needs humanity right now. We need people who can recognize the light in others even when we're struggling to see ourselves. And that's why people give hope, right? That's what they're giving. And, versus despair. There's a lot of people that are very depressed and oppressed, and they've been repressed because they've been stuck in the organization of what man concept of conditioning happened to, broke down their centeredness. They shrank their range of their world by blocking off aspects of, the environment. We are not meant to be used. I'm just saying, we're not meant to push buttons all day and, get a paycheck and work at PetSmart. I'm just putting it out there, like, however you wish, right? Take what you want. But this is a failure of an adjustment, and that's how neurosis happens, and that's why people have anxiety and depression. They are lacking a need for centeredness, and they weren't able to preserve their centeredness, and that has caused them to be broken down through their society. So the goals, they're become spiritually empty. It's like health becomes the vacuum which is left when the so-called neurosis is cured. And neurosis has a lot to do with the people who don't break down, don't come for help, and the problems of a kind which do not fit our techniques and what we perceive, right? And fit in our society. Our mirror of culture is just so, it's just so not right. It's so backwards. It's like our cultural definition of health is so bad. They promote these products and oh my God. The emotional manipulation is just out. It's just it leaves you so out of touch with your own self. You become inadequate, right? The commercials you see, okay. Anyway, let's just go on. Let's talk about the suppression of the Western man and the courage to inwardly face and confront your own existence. Yes, the historical times have brought us now to this awareness that nobody is, there are still professionals in the world, thank God, okay, that want to support teachers, doctors, healers, but the rest of the society is how many more likes can you get on Instagram or TikTok, or, you know, this is almost here. The loss of a being lies in the vast movements of conformism and the tendencies towards loss of individual self-consciousness. So yes, that's kind of what happened, right? So now you're breaking through, and the old forces have kept people divided, and you are now being exposed. That this has kept people divided, and are being exposed to what they are, right? Like people who have did you dirty. You kind of see the hidden patterns come to light. People who trying to create something better are finding one another at this time as well. The kings and the queens are coming home to each other, not because they've conquered everyone else, but because they have finally conquered the darkness within themselves. And this is the live. This is the real crown. This is the real power. And that is where this energy is ultimately leading us for this Pisces lunar. Right? So facing the challenges in front of you without losing sight of the reward waiting beyond them. And the kings and the queens, this is you almost saying, I have a left brain and a right brain, and my masculine and feminine are going to come together, whether it's not with a person or it is. This is almost like you owning up and taking responsibility for your financial aspects or your career, and just seeing what can I do to improve my circumstances and create stability, and who's going to stand with me in this world that's confusing and difficult. Keep building, keep connecting. That's what I'm saying. Keep moving towards the people and the possibilities to make you feel alive and your spirit alive, right? Momentum is to build where you have been working towards, okay, much closer than you realize. I don't think you realize you've already achieved the death in the past 9 years ago. I really want to go like again another 9 years. So I think you probably got the message this time. I do. And I think you've kind of conquered your own darkness. And that's what it says here. With the reading, sorry, I have to like, couldn't really, I mean, unless you want to see my lamp. I just put in the slide here. We're going to stomp out the negative patterns without allowing them to define us. So that's what the learning curve here is. And ready to come to decisions about your own existence. To maybe shift your goals. To deal with the important realities of life that have been in the shadows. To have normal anxiety, not neurotic. They're two different ones. See, this is about you learning your potentiality, you know? That's the thing. And most people don't, and that's tragic. They don't know. This is also about one more thing I'll say here. My point here is, for you, never can grasp the other person in his real existence unless you see him at every instant in process of trying to become something. All right? This is about moral growth and change of your living experience, and a person who's denying this moral change only proves it from a different angle. So this is the process of becoming and finding people revealed through critical situations. You know, spiritual suffering has a way to gaining help and hope, you know, with others and people. So I don't know if that made sense, but put it however you want in the context. One last, yeah, I'm just gonna say, man is not an object to be forced into a role demanded by modern society, to be a waiter, a mother, or a worker, or an employee. It's not like that. All right. Miss Hazel Barnes is a woman who talks about satire, and she says, to my mind, this aspect of satire existentialism is one of the most positive and most important contributions. The attempt to make contemporary man look for himself again and refuse to be absorbed in a role on the stage of a puppet theater. Man is not an object to be used, whether by God or by psychiatry or psychology, or manipulated by the giant computers into mechanical passive consumer by mass communication. Nor is man to be used by way of his own manipulation of himself. Yeah, this isn't like the win of success on Madison Avenue. Human freedom and individual responsibility is saying, I am my choices, and proclaim that. That's all I have for you. Thanks so much for watching. Please watch that last video I did. Might have a little more clarity because, yeah. So face the challenges where you're at. Put your crown on. Know that you have the power to even stay where you're at. And develop the skill sets to focus on what is going to make you happy at the end of the day. Not anybody else. I mean, don't take people into account, but please detach is my point. There's no suffering, right? Learning to reconcile with your ambitions. Yeah. What is going to help you help other people within their relationships. And yeah. So thanks. Have a great day. I don't even know how to close this out. Oh my God.